Hello and welcome to Truth and Judgment. Today is Media Monday, and we are reviewing Zombieland Double Tap. Let's jump right into it. Period of time between the first Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap, 3 years have passed, and the zombie infection has sort of adapted or evolved in certain ways. And there are now 4 types of zombies that they have classified at this point. They are Homer, which is very, very dumb, and anyway, Hawking, which is very smart, named after Stephen Hawking. Ninja, because they're silent but deadly. And T-800, named after the Terminator. And don't worry, they will remind you that 3 or 4 times throughout the movie that it's based off of the Terminator. Anyway, 4 new types of zombies. As well, they have expanded on the list of rules that they have been working on, or more specifically, Columbus has been working on. And in the first movie, there were 32 total, and only 10 stated. In the second movie, there are 73 total, and if I remember correctly, 15 or 16 total stated. That includes the ones that were in the first movie as well. So a lot more total, but they don't really explain a whole lot of it. They don't really dive into it a whole lot. They just kind of refer to it here and there, which is fine. I just, like I said before, I really like that list. I really want them to, maybe like release the entire list in like a separate form somewhere else. But I think it's great and it's awesome, and I feel like they should, really flesh out all of the rules, all 73 of them now. But yeah, so it starts out with our 4 main protagonists. They take over the White House. They live there for a little while, and then Little Rock wants to kind of go out on her own. She wants a boyfriend. She's really like not having a good time, and then she goes off with her older sister, and then they meet a guy that is around Little Rock's age, and then Little Rock and that guy take off on their own together, and then Wichita has to come back to the White House to get the boys so they can go find Little Rock and track her down and see what she's up to. So they end up going to Graceland, home of the king. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah, that was cringy. Anyway, so they end up going to Graceland, and then they meet some new characters along the way. And when they get there, and there's some fun interaction there. We see a little bit more about how a person turns into a zombie, and that's cool. And then there's a couple fights break out. They explore some new vehicles. We actually see this really cool scene where they show how much teamwork they've developed and the strategies that they've developed to kind of take on the zombie horde. And it is a really, really well executed scene. That was very cool. And it turns out that Little Rock and Berkeley are headed towards this tower that has been deemed Babylon. And it's this safe haven for all of these hippies where they don't use guns, and they live peacefully and in harmony inside the walls of this encampment with this giant tower in between. And when the whole crew gets back together, we see all of these T-800s come storming the castle, trying to eat all the hippies. But then this epic fight scene breaks out. A lot of cool stuff happens, and then that leads into the end of the movie, where the group gets back together and they go off on their own away from Babylon. And that's about it. I have to say that this has definitely been my favorite movie, like the best movie that I've seen all year. I'd say it's even better than the Joker was, and that about sums it up. That's about all I have to say on the matter. Alex, let me know. What do you think of the movie?
So I thought Zombieland 2 was a fantastic movie. 2019, especially the later half of 2019, has been giving us really good movies. Now, that's not to say that it didn't have some issues, but it was definitely probably either the best or the second best movie I've seen this year. One of the big issues with it, though, is that during the movie, there's a part of it where Tallahassee is finally leaving the group and driving away, and he sees a group of the T-800s, and they're all running towards this base of operations that he just left. And they're following the lights and the fireworks, but he has his headlights on, and he's driving relatively fast. And not a single zombie starts chasing him. They're all running at a horde towards this place called Babylon. And he manages to flip it in reverse and get back there and save the day as one will. But with that being said, it just seemed like a big flaw to me, as well as the concept of Babylon as a whole. Because it was this safe haven, but it was a safe haven with no weapons whatsoever. So, in order to get into the safe haven, you had to melt your gun down, and you got this metal, which was the dumbest thing ever. I could have understood having an armory, and you have to store your gun in the armory in case of zombie invasion, but otherwise you're not allowed to carry your weapon around with you. I could have even understood that. But just blatantly not having any weapons was setting themselves up for failure. I mean, we have to think that this is about 3 years into their zombie apocalypse. The zombies have evolved and adapted, and no one's figured out this place where lights are on 24/7 from the rooftop. I mean, they could have blacked out the windows on the top floors and lived on that and used the top as a garden, or any other number of ways that they could have just simply canceled or negated most of their problems. But instead, they just let it exist, and there were these plot holes all involved. Now, a few things about the movie I did like was we got to see more rules. We didn't necessarily get to see more rules as in we saw all of them, but we did get to see a few more, and I did appreciate that. They didn't run too many of the same gags or punchlines from the first movie, although some of the jokes did have similar themes, which, I mean, it is a sequel, and there's only so much you can do with a comedy zombie movie. But it was pretty good. I really liked what they did. I liked how they named the evolutions of the zombies, and I just thought it was really enjoyable. I was laughing the majority of the movie. I just thought it was absolutely funny. And I also really appreciated that the previews didn't ruin the movie. There's a few movies that I've seen this year where the previews kind of showed the best of the movie, and that's it. And this preview kind of just shows you the very beginning and a couple very small segments that don't really ruin the plot of the movie overall. So I have to give kudos to that. Now, with that being said, this has been Veritas at Iodicium. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get all of the new up-to-date information on both movies, hot topics, and anything else that we think might be funny or cool for you guys. Thank you, and goodbye.